Hello everybody and welcome back to G Bear's Windy Homestead. Yeah, 30 miles an hour again today. I'm telling you, I've never seen a year like this. First we got more rain than we ever did before, and the desert's green. The grasses are starting to brown out though, but after that it's been windy day after windy day after windy day. Oh my word. I think there's only been like 10 days of no wind since the first of the year. And maybe even before that. Totally ridiculous. So anyway, anyhow, it's a good thing I got all these extra cables holding down my solar panels and stuff. I'd be collecting those out of the desert. So I was down here today because nothing dries out a garden faster than a windy day. And since I think I just told you that we have windy days, lots of windy days, I had to come out and water my garden because it was pretty dry. And I got it soaked down really well right now. Now, you can see I cleaned up the greens here. I left 2 of the broccoli plants in here. My little trees over here are doing just fine, but I'm gonna have to up pot those soon. And I had problems with this avocado tree. It took its taproot and went through the bottom of the yellow bucket. When I was trying to up pot it into that bigger pot, it tore up the roots, so the top of it's died off and it's still green down low. So I'm going to be pruning that just below the brown spot on the stem, and I'll put some pruning paste on there to protect it and see if I can't get it to come back again. I've been keeping it well watered, but well watered. I don't have a well. Anyway, only one of my potato plants left sticking out of the ground there. Something got in and ate all the others. There's definitely, I think there's been a few grasshoppers in here because I've seen leaves and that stuff getting munched on, and it's not making me happy. My little pears are doing just wonderful here. Got some nice ones on here. Got a big one over there. Yeah, I got everything watered. My tomato plants out there are all looking happy, huh? Yes, sirree. I'm going to be eating some good fresh tomatoes here, and not too far from here, because that one big plant right there has flowers on it, and it looks like one of them is already set and starting to turn to a tomato. So I watered those and fertilized them today to make sure that they were doing good. Look at all the grapes on this grapevine. Oh my word. There's grapes everywhere. Grapes, grapes, and more grapes, and more grapes. Yeah, just loving that. Lots of grapes. So I gave this guy a good soaking. Now, earlier this year, I had direct seeded planted corn in this area right here, and nothing ever came up out of it. And over there I planted spinach, I think it was, and nothing ever came up out of that either. Well, today I decided I was going to replant the corn while I was here and soaking everything down. And hold it a minute, I got a fly irritating me. So anyway, I decided I was going to replant, and when I stuck my finger in the soil, the top of the soil was soaking wet, but my soil had gone, what do they call that, waterbound, where it won't let water seep into the soil. So what I did was I made holes for the seeds with my fingers. I went 4 across and 7 long, and I went up to my first knuckle here. That bend, not the first bend, the second bend, deep. And then I put 2 seeds in each hole, and then instead of covering them back over, putting the dirt back over the hole, I watered the dirt into the holes. So after that, I stuck my finger down in the soil and it was wet and the water had finally gotten through. So that was a little problem I had. Now something got in here and chewed off the top of my watermelon plant here. And that's not making me happy. This grapevine getting pretty good. It's really sprouting out, so I'll be happy with that, because the first grapes I showed you up here, these are Thompson Seedless Green. And that one down there is Thompson Seedless Purple. So I'd like to get that one growing so I have a variety of different grapes here. That one over there is Concord, and I had grapes on it last year. It was only 2 small bunches, but there's nothing on it this year. That's strange. So don't know what's going on with that, but I'll find out. I'm probably going to have to refertilize everything and get started. My fresh carrots are coming up. That's a volunteer tomato from the tomatoes I grew here last year. I didn't plant them here again this year because you should rotate your crops every 3 years when they're in a raised bed area. Or you've got to replenish the nutrients in the soil every year, which means digging out half the soil, putting fresh stuff in it. Just too much of a hassle. Easier to rotate. All right. Radishes are sprouting back up, and I got some peppers showing up on my pepper plant there. And that was from last year. So that had the same problem. The water was sitting on the top of the soil and only going in about a ½ an inch, and everything down below that was dry. So I had to dig some holes with my hand and then water them down with the hose so that the water got through to the underneath part. So that's why it looks nice and dark and wet in here. All my aloe vera is looking good. Oh, my neighbor Letty, and I'm sure she's watching because she always does, wanted me to propagate a rosemary plant for her. So, see what I did here, and people say, I don't understand. What did you do? All right, I took a piece of a aloe vera frond, and then I clipped off a branch of the rosemary. And then using the edge of the blade, I scraped the bark off of the bottom 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 of the stem. And then stuck that into the aloe vera frond gel, so the gel is around it. And then bury the gel, or the frond, down into the soil. So that aloe vera gel will help start the roots. It works like a rooting hormone. It'll help start the roots on this thing. And as long as I don't forget and let the soil dry out, that should root within the next 30 days or so. And I'll see some fresh growth on the plant. And then I can give my neighbor the one that I've been promising to give him. I could also air layer a branch on my big plant over there, but it's not really big enough for that yet. These young, tiny little branches have a hard time when you're air layering on them. I like to get them around a pencil thickness for air layering. Also for grafting, that's the best thickness too. So my grafts over here, except the ones that broke off, although that one that's broken down right there seems to be healing itself in a drop position and still growing. But yeah, everything's growing really well on that right now. So I'm happy with those grafts getting through. And this apple tree, something's been chewing on the leaves, as you can see, all over this thing. I think it's grasshoppers. And I don't care if grasshopper comes with Mr. Miyagi or not. I catch grasshoppers around here and they're going to get killed. Chicken feed. So everything's been watered really well here. The couple of flowers I had on this plant, they fell off and didn't take. So although I did see one of them had taken, and I had a little about twice the size of a BB tangelo growing, and then it was gone. So I don't know. I think the birds are coming in from up in there, and they're finding stuff like that. Same thing with the grasshoppers that are chewing the heck out of my Fuji apple tree here. And this graft was broken down. It broke off right there where at the graft. So I tied it up because it's still growing and it may heal itself. I'm hoping it will. All right, that's about it. Just wanted to get a video in because I didn't get one in yesterday. And I had the individual who's interested in the deal on this property was here today, and we went over some of the agreement, and he took that and he's going to have it all typed up properly and legally, and then we'll get this thing going. That's about it. I want to thank you all for joining me. This is G Bear signing off.